We would like to start our first panel, which is named Sustainable Development Goals. Is it time to accelerate building ecosystems? Moderator is Mr. Marcus Neto, Director of IICPST Turkey. And panelists are Mr. Mustafa Turan, Deputy Director General for Multilateral Economic Affairs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Turkey, Mr. Kutlu Karavelioğlu, the President of the Union of Machine Exporters, Turkey, Mr. Filippo Adari, co-founder of the Plus Value Italy, Ms. Ebru Özdemir, Chairperson of the Limak Investment Turkey, and Ms. Cheryl Edison, the CEO of the Edison International USA. Stage is yours.
Good morning, good night. It's a pleasure to be here today. We have a fantastic panel to you. Let me just say that, you have their bios on the program. They might say a little bit about themselves when they started. My name is Marcus Neto. I work for the United Nations Development Program and I'm director for the Istanbul International Center for Private Sector and Development, which is a partnership between the United Nations Development Program and the Turkish government. We'll be based in Istanbul. About a year and a half ago, we started to work with the Turkish government on a concept of creating an accelerator for business to deal with what we call in the Sustainable Development Goals that leave no one behind. One of the concepts behind the Sustainable Development Goals is this notion that we need to focus on the people that are further away from sustainable development. For example, refugees or least developing countries. And in that sense, we started this journey with our colleagues of the Turkish government. In September this year, during the United Nations General Assembly in New York, the administrator of UNDP, Mr. Achim Steiner, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Turkey launched this SDG Impact Accelerator, and we've been busy conceptualizing and doing a feasibility study, which you're going to hear now, and we're going to have a nice conversation with global experts on how to accelerate issues of sustainable development in the Agenda 2030. So without further ado, I wanted to open the panel by giving you all a little bit of a framing of what the feasibility study of the accelerator is telling us. And in that sense, I'm calling Filippo Adari, the co-founder and CEO of Plus Valley, who is one of the experts who is working on the feasibility to tell us what are the findings so far and where we go from here. Filippo, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Marcus. We know that to reach the SDG goals, we are missing 2 billion from the public funding. So certainly we needed to raise more capital, but we have learned in these years that throwing more money at problems is not a solution, not enough. We need to engage new forces in those countries which are interested the most about the SDGs and mobilize those forces. It means mobilizing the entrepreneurial spirit and the innovative capacity of those people in least developed countries and refugees as well. Therefore, UNDP, the Turkish government, and the Gates Foundation joined forces. They have supported a feasibility study run by a group of experts to look at programs, organizations, models to harness the power of these people together with business approaches and technology to provide solutions. And it's the combination of these three players is very important. UNDP, an international global platform, Gates Foundation, a power vehicle to mobilize business and technology, and the Turkish government, a rising stars in the international scene, humanitarian scenes, bringing new ideas, fresh ideas to reach out most vulnerable groups. And so I want to go very quickly through the main findings and then to tell you how we plan to address these issues. So, you know, the study has looked at incubators, accelerators, living labs across the world. It was a quite extensive research, and so the text will be available. I'm trying to get very quickly to the main points. First of all, a system approach. We cannot address complex systems with a simple problem-solution approach. We look at the complexities of issues like the ones facing least developed countries and refugees. That means also bringing along a multi-stakeholder partnership that engage leaders, entrepreneurs, innovators from all sectors, public, private, not-for-profit, you name it. But those complex challenges have also context-driven features. So although we need to have our mind looking at the complexity of the issues, we also have our feet rooted on the ground and developing solutions that take in consideration the contextual situations. One of the most important issues that emerged was the gap between entrepreneurship and capital. This is a real issue in least developed countries with vulnerable people. We too often think that vulnerable people are not entrepreneurial. Wrong. Mohamed Yunus, the Nobel Prize laureate, demonstrated that actually they are incredible entrepreneurs. Unfortunately, there are several cultural bias often, but also the lack of market infrastructure that stop these unique, energetic entrepreneurs to succeed and reach impact. Then also there is a lack of scale, or what we could say, there are a plethora of initiatives, but very limited framework to bring them together. So too many, too small. And finally, lack of impact measurement. So there is a lot of goodwill, a lot of money, but we don't measure what we achieve, and especially we don't learn where we failed, why we failed, or where we succeed. So the 3 initiatives supported by the experts came up with the proposal for the establishment of an SDG impact accelerator. Accelerators are relatively new approach to support and scale startup solutions, but now are spreading everywhere. Some of them have been very successful, like Y Combinator from the Silicon Valley, and some other less. Certainly, there are issues in implementing accelerators in emerging economies and for refugees. So we have been designing an accelerator that will address those specific targets, trying really to broker this relationship between entrepreneurship and capital, shortening, the distance between the two, the scouting that capital has to do, the upskilling that is required by investors, and creating efficiency in the overall system to cut on costs. Now, giving you a few elements, distinguish element about this accelerator. Number one, a think tank-like approach to identify those great challenges that define the system approach, not to be carried out by the first problem that has popped out in the media, but to take a step back and think about the big picture and find the right issue as an acupuncture strategy. An hub and spoke structure, trying to bring together the intelligence of a center with the outreach of a network. That means that we are planning to establish the accelerator in Istanbul. However, Istanbul is just one place, although a great place in the world, and so that hub has to connect to all the other accelerators across the world or like-minded initiatives that already exist to increase the impact, but also as a learning system, a living learning system. Diversity will be a feature in the cohorts of entrepreneurs and innovators involved, as well as in the supportive team that will work with those cohorts in order to build their capacity. Diversity is very important to reflect not only diversity in society, but diversity of problems. Different people bring different knowledge and different solutions. It's crucial to have a model that embraces such diversity. We will prioritize impact capital, because when you want to work with these vulnerable groups, you cannot go for just straightforward for-profit strategy. You also need in consideration a plurality of values, as social and environmental values. And impact investing is something which is growing exponentially. It has quite impressive figures in terms of growth in the last years. So we will look that kind of capital that suits our initiative. And to conclude, we'll put together a framework to measure, to be accountable to the people who are involved in this, to the capital that will be deployed by the partners, but also to learn about what we have achieved and where we failed in order to create that distributed, intelligent system that will lift everybody up. I would stop here.
Thank you very much, Filippo. Now that you've got a little bit of a glimpse, and fantastic way to summarize what is a very extensive exercise so far, let me turn to my good friend Mustafa Turan. We've started this process a year and a half ago, as I mentioned, and Istanbul is growing, and the Turkish government is, being very instrumental and put lots of United Nations global offices in here, like the center that I have the pleasure to lead, as well as the recently technology banking, Gebze. So in that sense, what does the government of Turkey aim with this accelerator in the combination with the Istanbul Center, the combination with the technology bank? So what is the strategy for the Turkish government in that sense? Over to you, Mustafa.
Thank you, Marcus. So it's a great privilege, really, to be able to speak on this topic, because, as Marcus has said, we have started this journey about a year and a half ago. on the basis of our strategic partnership with UNDP. Turkey has been exploring possibilities of diversifying our international development cooperation schemes. Traditionally, Turkey has been supporting a lot of countries in the world through bilateral assistance programs, technical programs, various other programs. But more and more in recent years, as the volume of our assistance has expanded, right now, according to 2017 numbers, it's become Turkey's official development assistance has become $8.2 billion. We would like to really see how we can make the best use out of this great volume of assistance. And in that respect, I think our partnership with the UNDP has provided a platform where we can really explore different ideas. And one of them was this idea of tapping into the power of entrepreneurship around the world, really. Trying to see how these really young and dynamic group of people using technology can address some of the great challenges of our times. And also trying to explore how we can really provide an opportunity for these relatively new enterprises to partner with long-established companies. In Turkey, we have companies who are reaching out to many different parts of the world. We have representatives at the panel whose companies are working in Africa, in the Balkans, in Central Asia, and how we can really create a synergy between long and established companies and new startups. So this accelerator, once established in Istanbul, will be an opportunity, as Filippo has elaborated in detail, will be a platform-based initiative which will bring together different solution partners to address some of the great challenges. And by doing so, Turkey's aim is really to underline its policy of supporting the most vulnerable groups around the world, not just the refugees in Turkey or elsewhere, but also the least developed countries. Least developed countries have been a priority group of countries for Turkey for many years. We've hosted a summit meeting in 2011 in Istanbul, and the technology bank, which was mentioned by Marcos, was one of the package that was proposed, and our then Prime Minister, now President Mr. Erdogan, has committed Turkey to create this technology bank, which will really develop the capacity of the least developed countries in terms of their capacity in innovation, science, and technology field, so that we can enable them to transfer technology through the technology bank. The bank is an IP and patent bank, and will allow companies who would like to make their IP available for least developed countries to really be the interface for that process. So the accelerator, we thought, could really be a good partner for the technology bank to really develop the capacity in the entrepreneurship world to make this technology transfer possible through the agency of the dynamic entrepreneurs. So we are hoping that once we finish the feasibility study of this accelerator, it will create a magnet for a lot of investors, like Filippo mentioned, to really find a way to invest in entrepreneurs who can provide bankable projects with social impact. That's what is needed most in the world of investors. They are looking for projects that can really create a big impact on the ground, not just investing in infrastructure projects, which are more, in a way, secure, but also invest in projects with social value and social impact. The side event that we organized in New York during the last General Assembly meeting, where our foreign minister presented the SDG Accelerator project together with the UNDP administrator, Mr. Ahim Steiner, I think created a momentum that we can now build upon. And this panel today is another milestone that we are sharing with you because the feasibility group experts of the feasibility group have come up with some ideas which were summarized by Filippo before me, and we would love to listen to the representatives of the private sector now about how this ambitious global project of an SDG impact accelerator can be beneficial not just for Turkey, but also for all the vulnerable groups around the world who really need their needs and challenges to be addressed as soon as possible. So I will stop here and turn the word back to you, Marcus.
Thank you very much, Mustafa Bey. The Turkish government is a visionary when it comes down to sustainable development. So if you don't know, the Sustainable Development Goals have 17 goals and 169 targets until 2030. The Technology Bank that we've mentioned, Mustafa and myself, is the creation of the Technology Bank means that the Turkish government is responsible for the first achievement of one of the 169 targets. There was a target to SDG 17 about the creation of Technology Bank. So we can kind of take the list, 168 to go in that sense. Let's bring the private sector. Let's start with, Madame Ebru Ozdemir, the chairperson of Limak Investor. Now, Limak is one of the first companies that decided to support the SDG Accelerator. Why are you interested in this initiative, and how do you plan to support it? The floor is yours, madam.
Thank you. Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank the organizers for inviting me to this panel, and it's a really pleasure to be invited to the summit again this year. And we have very interesting panelists, so I'd like to cut it very short, but I'd like to really tell you why we are a part of this project. And this year's main theme already actually answers a lot of our questions and our involvement to the SDG Accelerator, which the theme is sustaining peace and the development for all. As a company and as a representative of the private sector, I definitely believe that we have a huge responsibility to fulfill the sustainability of the peace and the development for all. And as Marcus said, I'm here as a businesswoman and I represent private sector. And to answer the first part of the question, why are we here? Why have we decided to support? There are basically three reasons. Number one, as everybody knows, the world needs more infrastructure and more construction, particularly in the developing countries. Because the infrastructure and construction are key to our world's increasingly complex humanitarian and development needs. And building of today and tomorrow, we need to be resilient to natural disasters, eco-friendly, and we have to definitely construct eco-friendly and peaceful surroundings and buildings. Like airports of today and tomorrow, they have to be sustainable, environmentally friendly, innovative, equipped with smart technologies, but at the same time, they have to be large enough to accommodate millions of passengers that would satisfy growing the needs and numbers of the air travelers. For example, the new airport that was just built by the consortium that we are in, or the airport that we are building in Senegal or in Kuwait. Roads, railroads, bridges should correspond to the needs of the urbanization, connectivity, and increased road transportation, while again withstanding the natural disasters. Area planning, energy investments that need to be triggered development while being accessible and serving to reduce poverty. The way to do is to plan and implement investments through a holistic systems thinking, taking into account of economic, social, and environmental objectives and concerns. And right now, as the business world, we don't have the luxury to step aside and do only our own business. We need to listen to people, we need to satisfy the needs and their concerns. That's really very important. And every positive impact a business causes in its society and environment will ultimately benefit business interests and long-term sustainability and profitability as well. So this is number one. Number two, we need to ensure our investment contributes to generating solutions to problems that we face today. Unemployment, natural disasters, as I said, disorder, inequality, gender inequality, migration, and private sector has a lot to offer. We have to collaborate together. Because why? I mean, private sector is quick, private sector is innovative, private sector is very result-oriented, and private sector is entrepreneurial. These are very critical. I mean, these are very common words that you would find everywhere, but these are really critical as private sector could find innovative and result-oriented solutions to these problems. And the third reason, refugees. Today's challenges, as everyone knows, and as everybody said, also the President of the Prime Minister of Cyprus, the challenges are really immense. There are 25.4 million refugees around the world. At 6.3 million, Syrians account for the largest refugee population in the world. These are really staggering numbers. And of course, Turkey has become the largest refugee hosting nation in the world, with over 3.5 million refugees and a total spending of 30 billion US dollars. And Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan, the Turkish government, is doing a lot of things here and great efforts here to overcome with the problems that the Syrians bring itself. But the global SDG accelerator also appeals to me and our company because of this third reason as well. This is not a temporary situation or a contained humanitarian crisis, but one with long-term development implications for my country, its region, and its beyond. If you look at the numbers, 46% of the Syrians in Turkey are under the age of 18. 37% of them are school-aged. 46% of them are women, and more than 280,000 babies have been born in Turkey since the conflict began. As I said, these are staggering numbers. Their education, employment, social integration are the issues that matter to both the refugee and the host communities. The private sector also needs to pay attention, and we need to be a part of the solution. Don't forget, refugees bring with them a wealth of untapped human capital. This is the word, or this is the description we'd like to use a lot, an untapped human capital. They can, and often do, make significant contributions to the economies of their host communities as employees, but also as entrepreneurs and job creators, and eventually to their home countries as long as they are given the opportunity. And this is our company's vision around our involvement in this issue. In Atlantic, we just published an Atlantic Council in Turkey's report on Syrian refugees, and we launched it in September in New York. In October, we did the Istanbul launch, and hopefully we'll do a Brussels launch. And I think this answers the first part of the question. Why are we interested with the SDG accelerator? Private sector's role in development, private sector's transformative power, and refugees. And the next part of the question, how do we plan to support it? As everybody said, as Filippo said, we are preparing a feasibility report, and we are waiting the results of it, and we will be very happy to analyze it. Next, we are looking forward to partner with global actors like UNDP, Turkish Ministry of Foreign Affairs, other international companies. Back in 2016, we established Limak Foundation. Why? To strategically manage social investments of our group. Because as a businesswoman, I don't see these works as corporate social responsibility projects, but more than that, it's social investments. Investments are not only monetary. This is what I believe. That was a total mind change for us, and I do spend a lot of time and effort for the business. At the foundation, we do a lot of projects for the empowerment and especially women empowerment, as these are the two main issues that we have focused. In Turkey, we started Engineer Girls of Turkey project with UNDP. In Kuwait, we are building Kuwait's Engineer Girls. In Kosovo, we have an Airports Institute and the Kids Academy, where we focus on young employment. In Senegal, we are launching the last academy in the airport sector. In Macedonia, we would like to add more value on skills development. And through years, we have accumulated huge knowledge and expertise in this field. Now, we are looking forward to contribute to SDG Accelerator with this knowledge and expertise. And as a final word, I'd like to say two things. There is always a lot more we can do together as the private sector and with the governments involved. One must be actively involved into the change, and definitely this is true leadership that I believe. Thank you.
Thank you, Ebru. It's fantastic to hear a company of the size and global presence of LIMAC. We at UNDP fundamentally believe that there is no way we can achieve the Sustainable Development Goal without a very proactive engagement of private sector going beyond corporate social responsibility into the core business operation. And it's delighted to hear and having you as part of this process with us. Now, another element of the private sector is large business associations. And one of the greatest business associations that we have is the Turkish Export Assembly. And we are very happy to have Kutlu Bey here, which is a board member of the TIM and the chairperson of the Innovation Committee. Now, TIM has a long-standing experience on incubators established in Turkey in partnership with TEB. Tell us a little bit about that experience, and how do you think this SDG Accelerator will contribute to the Turkish startup ecosystem and private sector? The floor is yours, Kutlu Bey.
Teşekkür ederim.
Oh, he's going to speak in Turkish, so if you need the mic.
Sorun mu var bilmiyorum ama. Markus Bey, çok teşekkür ederim. Ben de kendi adıma başkanı bulunduğum Makine İhracatçıları Birliği adına ve yönetim kurulu üyesi olduğum Türkiye İhracatçılar Meclisi adına konuklarımızı saygıyla selamlıyorum. TİM bir meslek örgütü, 72 bin ihracatçıyı temsil ediyor 27 sektörden ve bunu 61 ihracatçı birliği vesilesiyle yapıyor. Başkanı olduğum Makine İhracatçıları Birliği'nde 13.800 üyesi var. Biz dünyaya mal ve hizmet satmıyoruz ama bunu yapmaya çalışan üyelerimizin firmalarımızı temsil ediyoruz. Onların ve ülkenin gücünü anlatmaya çalışıyoruz. Esas yapmaya çalıştığımız ihracatı artırırken aslında malın değerini artırmaya çalışmak. Bunun içinde 5 ana prensibimiz var. İnovasyon, Ar-Ge, tasarım, markalaşma ve girişimcilik. Bu 5 sütuna dayalıdır bu değer artışı. Burada bu 5'i bir arada olduğu zaman girişkenlik ve girişimcilik arasındaki çizgiyi daha ayırt edilebilir halde görebiliyoruz. Dönüştüren, tasarlayan girişimci bir nesil yetiştirmeyi ümit ediyoruz, hedefliyoruz. Bütün gayretimiz bunun için. Burada inovasyonun çok önemli bir rolü var. Birçok inovasyon projemiz var ama bir tanesini önemli vurgulamak isterim. 300 kadar gönüllü üniversite öğrencisi Innova Team başlıklı projemiz altında liselerde dersler veriyorlar. Robotik, yapay zeka, programlama, inovasyon ve özellikle de girişimcilik konusunda biz onlara ne öğretirsek onlar da liseli çocuklarımızı onları öğretmeye çalışıyorlar. Bu saydığım 5 alan bizim küresel markalar çıkartmak amacımıza yönelik hükmetmeye çalıştığımız, bilmeye, anlatmaya çalıştığımız 5 alandır. Ve küresel markaların çıkabileceği ekosistemi inşa etmek gayreti içindeyiz. Biz genç ve dinamik nüfusuyla, risk almaya hayli yatkın, alışkın insan tabiatıyla ülkemizi girişimciliğin küresel merkezlerin biri haline de getirmek azmindeyiz. İletişim, ulaşım ve üretim teknolojileri dünyayı ne kadar küçültürse küçültsün, nitelikli insan kaynağının tercih edeceği coğrafyalar dünyada sınırlı. Sosyal ve kültürel altyapımızla beraber lojistik imkanlarımız, enerji ve ticaret kavşaklarını binlerce yıl olduğu gibi bundan sonra da cazibe merkezleri halinde kılmaya devam edecekler. Türk sanayi çok büyük emek veriyor. Bana sorarsanız gereğinden fazla da emek veriyor. Bunu biz gayet iyi gözlemliyoruz dış ticaret rakamlarımızdan. Aynı eforla çok daha verimli, daha çok üretmek ve daha pahalı mal üretmek imkanlarına sahibiz. Yapmamız gereken şeyler bellidir ve bu yolda çalışmaya devam edeceğiz. Başlığımıza döneyim. Girişim evlerimiz bugünün konusu. Bu akseleratör projesinde nasıl bir altyapı size takdim edebiliriz? Nelerden yararlanabilirsiniz? Onu arz etmeye çalışayım. Bizim bu projemiz girişim evleri, TİMTEP girişim evleri 2015'te başlatıldı. Ticaret Bakanlığımız işi eline vermekle kalmadılar. Daima yol açtılar, bize yol gösterdiler. Çok kapsamlı bir alana yayılıyor. Eklektik bir yapıda adım adım çıkılabilen bir merdivene benzetebilirsiniz girişimcilik projemizi. Burada ortağımız TEB'de bir teşekkürü borçluyum doğrusu. 3 yılda 650'yi aşan sayıda girişimci yetiştirdik. Bunların ciroları 770 milyon lirasına ulaştı. 76 milyon lira devlet desteği aldılar. 64 milyon lira yatırım yaptılar ve 2500'e yakın kişiyi de istihdam ettiler. Biz meslek örgütü olarak Türkiye'nin ihracatından sorumluyuz. Ama sağlıklı büyümenin de üretimle olması gerektiğini biliyoruz. Üretimin dinamikleri, teknoekonomik kapasite, kalite katma değer ne derseniz deyin, rekabetçi olmayacak işletmeleri un ufak ediyor, ortadan kaldırıyor. Tüketim alışkanlıkları değişti, kişiselleşmiş ürünler rağbet görüyor, butik imalata yeni alanlar açılıyor dünyada. Yine de bir göreceli ölçek meselesi, verimliliğin ve rekabetçiliğin tam merkezinde durmaya devam edecek. Esnek ve dinamik KOBİ'ler büyük işletmelere karşı daha sağlam bir zemine basmakla birlikte, buna kavuşacak olmakla birlikte bunun girişimci sayısını ve niteliğini artıracağını görüyoruz dünyada. Bizim yetiştirdiğimiz, bizim evlerimizden mezun olan girişimciler ihracatı hedeflemek durumunda olacaklardır. Destek aldığımız çok kuruluş var. Biz aslında bir koordinasyon vazifesi yapıyoruz Türkiye'de. Teknoloji transfer ofisleri, kalkınma ajansları, üniversiteler, TÜBİTAK, KOSGEB gibi bu geniş alandan sorumlu, buralarda faaliyeti olan birçok kurumu kendi çatımız altında koordine ediyoruz. Son 3 yılda yaptığımız iş budur. İftiharla söylemem lazım, hiç yabana atılmayacak bir ekosistem ortaya çıkardık. Böyle bir ekosistemin bir zirvesi varsa, bu resme en yukarıdan bakan, en uzağa görebilen bir yer olmak zorundadır. Ve Türkiye'de bu yerin TİM olduğunu da şahsi kanaatim olarak sizlere arz etmek isterim. Biz biriktirdiğimiz bütün bilgi ve tecrübeyle siyasi devlet makamlarının yanında olduk. Buna devam edeceğiz. Bu akseleratör projesi içinde de devletimizin desteklerini bu projenin içine ulaşabildiğimiz ölçüde aktarmaya diğer ortaklar gibi gayret edeceğiz. Altyapımız hakkında kısacık bilgi vereyim. 10 girişim evimiz var şu anda. 3 yenisi açılmak üzere. Harita arkadaşlarım koyacaklar, bilmiyorum, koymuşlar. Ben buralarda zaman kaybetmeyeyim. İstanbul ve İzmir hariç tamamen teknokentlerin içinde yerleşiyiz. Bu da ileri teknolojili ürün geliştiren insanların, girişimcilerin yanında olmak, onlara daha yakından hizmet vermek maksadıyladır. Bu illeri nasıl belirliyoruz? Bu tamamen bir know-how meselesidir. Tüm olağanüstü bir ticari veri tabanına sahip, kurumsal yapısı, üniversiteler ve devlet kurumlarıyla etkileşimi bu veri tabanını en doğru şekilde yorumlamamıza imkan veriyor. Şöyle söyleyeyim, bir nükte olsun. Bizim böyle bir nüktedan figürümüz var. Tarihi bir karakter diyebiliriz. 1200'lü yıllarda Akşehir'de yaşadığı rivayet olunan bilge bir kişi. Böyle meseleleri tiye alıp insanların başka açılardan bunları görmesini sağlamıştır. Kültürümüzde önemli bir yer var. Ona biz o rolü biçmişiz. Nasrettin Hoca biliyorsunuz. Biz onun yaptığı gibi göle maya çalıp da ya tutarsa demiyoruz. Ama yoğurdun olacağı yere götürüp mayayı çalıyoruz. Tim olarak bunu söyleyebilirim. Ya da mevcut ekosistemleri dönüştürmeye, geliştirmeye çalışıyoruz. Neden Türkiye'nin en yaygın ve geniş kapsamlı girişimcilik ailesi olarak tanımlanıyoruz? Sebebi şu, sadece bu projenin 12 farklı safhası var. TİMTEP girişim evleri Wake Up'la başlayıp markasıyla küresel rekabete soyunmuş bir girişimciye kadar basamak basamak çıkılabilen bir merdiven, safha safha özümsenen, hazmedilen ve bir sonrasına geçilebilen bir girişimcilik yolu çiziyor. Biz Let's Up programıyla başlıyoruz. Ondan sonra Step Up, Startup, Level Up gibi birçok programımız var. En son böyle bir yere gelmiş, cirosu 5 milyon lirayı da aşmış. Artık orada bir tıkanmayla karşı karşıya, azıcık bir itekleme gerektiren şirketleri de Grow Up programıyla küresel rekabet dünyasının ortasına atıyoruz. Bir de stratejik büyüme analizi programı var. Burada ileri teknolojili ürünlere münhasıran çok daha yakından baktığımız bir program. Hiç ihracat yapmamış olanları da Global Up diye bir programla ihracatçı yapmaya çalışıyoruz. Şimdi bu bizim formüle ettiğimiz bir ihtisaslaşma merdiveni. Eklektik yapı burada, basamak basamak olmasında. Bir yerden girip öteki yerden mezun olup gidiyorsunuz. Okul benzetmesine uygun işlerimiz var. İştirakçilerimiz bizim için bir aile. Gönlümüzde onları kaynaştıracak birçok etkinlik de yapıyoruz. Onları bütün ışıltılarıyla kamuoyuna takdim ediyoruz. Diploma törenlerimiz, ödül törenlerimiz var. Çok neşeli, çok motive edici, çok sosyal. İşin bu tarafı çok keyifli. Sayın Cumhurbaşkanımız, Sayın Bakanımız bu hassasiyetimizin farkındalar ve daima yanımızda oluyorlar. Onlara da teşekkür etmem lazım. Dışarıda benzer teşkilatlarla ilişkilerimiz var. Hiç teferruata girmeyelim. Henüz başlattığımız bir uygulama. TİM'in senede 100'den fazla ticaret heyeti vardır. Sektörüne göre değişir. Dünyanın herhangi bir ülkesine bu heyetler giderler ve münhasıran kendi sektörüyle ilgili çalışmalar yaparlar. Biz bu ticaret heyetlerini artık birer ikişer girişimcilerimizi de katmaya başladık. Onun çok faydasını göreceğimize inanıyorum. TİM'de yeni bir dönem başladı. Bugüne kadar yapılan bütün başarılı çalışmalar, gayretler için müteşekkiriz. Biz kurumsal yapımızı gözümüz gibi koruyacağız ve Ar-Ge, tasarım, inovasyon, girişimcilik, yani ihracatın değerini artıracak bütün projeleri genişleterek, yaygınlaştırarak sürdüreceğiz. Bu ekosistemi, içinde yaşadığımız, bir parçası olduğumuz bir yaşam biçimine, hayata dönüştürmek zorundayız. Bizi refaha taşıyacak tek şeyin bu olduğuna inanıyoruz. Bu ülkede yaşayan herkes için de böyledir. Göçmenleri de buna katabilirsiniz. Bu hepimizin vazifesidir. Arkadaşlarım notlarıma şöyle bir cümle koymuşlar. Çok sevdiğim için onu okuyayım. Yeniliğin tılsımı girişimcilik ruhunun altında saklı. Buna hayran oldum. Lirik bir cümle. Biz inovasyonu ve yenilikçiliği ve girişimciliği asla birbirinden ayırmıyoruz. Dünyada en kıymetli şey olduğuna inanıyoruz. Herkesten farklı görebilen, herkesten farklı düşünebilen insanlığın en büyük değerleri olduğuna inanıyoruz. Ve bunların kurduğu ağların çok değerli olduğuna inanıyoruz. Şöyle tamamlayacağım sözlerimi. Ekosistem küreselleşiyor. Ticaret bariyerleri çok şükür ki fikirler için henüz işlemiyor. Bu paradoksal, çelişkili bir durum olsa da, yani açık kaynaklar küresel teknolojik rekabetin dışında kalabildi. Henüz böyle. Farklı düşünenlerin rekabet tanımı da birbirinden, bizimkilerden farklı olduğu için bu sınırları tanımıyorlar. Bu çok memnun edici ve ümit verici bir durum. Şöyle tamamlayayım. Biz gayretlerimizin boşa gitmediğini görüyoruz. Takip ettiğimiz istatistiki değerlerden ve bütün süreçleri ölçebiliyor olmamızdan. Bu programdan yararlananların sayısının artmasını diliyoruz. İmkanlarımız buna müsait. Ve huzurlarınızda bu ailenin parçası olan bütün girişimcilerimizle de gurur duyduğumu ifade etmek isterim. Bu söz hakkı için teşekkür ediyorum Sayın Başkan.
Kutu Bey, thank you very much. I think it's fantastic that you demonstrated to all of us the richness already of the existing ecosystem in Turkey and in Istanbul, which further justify this accelerator being a global accelerator based in Istanbul. Now, I want to give the floor to Cheryl Edison, the CEO of Edison International. Sharon's a global expert who's been, as she told me today, she's been doing accelerators. So she's traveling around the world, making them happen. In that sense, Cheryl, the question is, you've heard about this accelerator, you read the materials, you've seen the ecosystem in Turkey. How are we doing? If you compare with your experience with the accelerators you have around the world, are we on the right path? What else should we consider to create a successful accelerator that is sustainable and can accomplish the goals that we have here? And I know that Cheryl has some slides, please, to put it out there. Thank you.
Okay.
The floor is yours.
Well, thank you for having me here. Again, my name is Cheryl Edison, and I'm visiting from Silicon Valley. It's not possible for me to sit here and have a judgment about Turkey. It's not possible because I've just arrived. And I would like to open the conversation by talking about some things that I'm thinking about and how I see practical aspects of what I'm hearing today at the panel, and maybe offer some ideas for what I've seen has worked around the world and things that don't really work that well. So let's see if technology is going to be our friend today. So this slide, now I have a whole bunch of slides. Now I have a whole bunch of slides for you today because it's my belief that when we relate to one another through our eyes, we are more able to connect with one another through our hearts. Because at the end of the day, we're here to connect, and although we have to use words to connect, it's really about joining our energies and focusing in the same direction for goals. So what are the goals? I went out and grabbed this slide so that we could understand, well, what are we looking at? What are we supposed to be attempting to solve? And these are the Sustainable Development Goals by the UN. I became aware of them when I was at the UN about a year ago, and I thought, well, gosh, they're not that different than the way that I've been focusing on global entrepreneurial ecosystems around the world for the last 30 years. It's not that different. So I thought, well, what is the question here? What is the question? When I began launching products and services across the United States and then in other countries around the world, what I learned was that there are more samenesses than differences. This slide hopes to show you the places that I've worked, where I've launched ecosystems, and some of the brands that I've been working with. I show these to you as a way of giving you an idea about the variety, and now I'm going to tell you how they're all the same. Even though there are many different cultures, and even though there are many different ways of approaching the development goals in each country, at the end of the day, it all boils down to a kind of a hierarchy of what works. We have to think about what wants to happen next. For me, the first time I started thinking about this was about 5 years ago when I thought, you know, it's not enough to launch products and services for individual entrepreneurs. It's not enough to launch new services for companies from one continent to another. Something else is trying to happen. What is that? What is that? Well, what I believe is that in this diagram, you're seeing a building, which was the first innovation hub that I ever built. It was a huge building, 1 million square feet on 23 acres. It was in foreclosure. It was a bankrupt building. It was outside of Silicon Valley. If you take a look at these little bitty stripes in the upper left, that's where a truck can fit. So it gives you kind of a sense of how big it is. It was more than half empty, and it wasn't meeting its bills. What wanted to happen next? Here's what I can tell you. We need to be together to make good things happen. We need to join one another and to seek out the achievement of our own goals, encouraging one another to reach those goals. In this place, without really intending it, it became Silicon Valley's largest incubator accelerator with 101 new companies in 9 months. 9 months is a very short time. Most babies are not born in 9 months. It takes through to 10, right? So to have 101 there and have it be suddenly Silicon Valley, when before it wasn't, caused me to learn something which I've been using ever since. The truth of the matter is that if we create a dynamic ecosystem where we do not focus on money, where we do not focus on needing money, but we focus on coming together, beginning with diversity, and putting into the background inflexible hierarchy, putting into the background agencies that have no way to make anything happen, or that don't have enough money to make things happen. And instead we focus on celebratory events where we come together as humans and support one another, when actually we're sharing knowledge and we're sharing the wisdom of what works for us in a pay-it-forward approach. When we do that, what ends up happening is that each of us starts giving more in a stone soup kind of fashion. And then we fulfill the vision with risk funding, and it becomes self-sustaining. I'd like to stop here for a moment on this slide, because if we don't get to any of the other slides in my deck, I really don't care. Because this is really what I have to say. We need to move away from hierarchy. We need to move away from top-down direction and to allow individuals to become the leaders of their own destiny. At the point in which an individual refugee is able to find a way to make anything happen, anything, one thing, that's the moment in which they are an entrepreneur, in which they can make things happen for themselves. So it's not about giving from the top down. It's about allowing people the tools they need and the space they need to come together. One more moment, and then I'll go to the next. So look, I actually want to say one thing. I see people looking at this. Everybody's looking at this, right? So I'm going to say, humanly, I had a little accident with a Swiss knife yesterday. I'm working in Switzerland, and I got to experience the fabulous Swiss healthcare system yesterday. So I have stitches here. So that's what this is, okay? So now we can stop thinking about that. Okay, next slide. What is that? Well, it's a place where you can play the piano if you wish. We have to start turning things upside down and finding a way that we get away from yes, no, win, lose approaches and really begin to see things with fresh eyes so that we can test and notice what works instead of going from this approach of already knowing. As soon as I think that I already know, I'm wrong, because that's the point when I'm not actually in the moment. It's the question of why that links us all, and why is not based on language. So we need to get away from language as quickly as we can and move into action, move into experiences. Everyone here knows about design thinking. I would think that you are aware of how when you see something beautiful, whether it's a plate of food. By the way, I ate the most wonderful meal last night here. I arrived, and the first thing I did was eat in my room. The food was amazing. This morning, I ordered 2 more times. I just wanted to see how the food would come. It was phenomenal, and such tasty food. So design thinking is really about linking our behaviors with what wants to happen next in the world that we live in. And so if we run through this process of actually being present and discovering, we will make innovation. At the end of the day, when we're speaking about those people who are running as refugees, they're here on this bottom rung generally. They're living in fear. How do we get from fear up to belonging? How do we get from the moment in which we're running away from and we're moving towards? That's what I want to know. So I'm going to say to you that in my work, launching maker spaces and launching innovation acceleration centers, which, oh, by the way, can be your kitchen table, can be your kitchen table, because a makerspace or innovation space or acceleration space just is that when we say it is. It doesn't have to have any particular tools or ways. Tomorrow I'll fly to Adana for the US State Department to work on makerspaces there, to launch accelerators there. I don't know what I'll find, but whatever I find, it will work, I'm sure. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple more slides quickly. It can be hard to imagine that the Sustainable Development Goals have a lot to do with the way brands are built. But in fact, if we don't build our brands, if we don't build the Sustainable Development Goals into real businesses, oh, guess what? They're not sustainable. And this is the way that businesses are now sustainable. We've gone from a commodification of values to the creation of brand. And so in order to make a value out of a business that is being built to create sustainable development goal fulfillment, we have to make a brand, and we have to use design that attracts people. In Uganda, I was working in Uganda a couple of months ago, and we were looking at the 60% of the people in Uganda that don't have electricity, that have never had electricity, that are not refugees. And I was working with a company called Phoenix International that was making products. And you know what they discovered? Even though they have a pay-it-forward system in which you can receive this device to begin taking solar energy and turning it into minutes to have light in your house and power your phone, it wasn't really being accepted unless it was attractive to the local people. Because we say yes first through our eyes. Now, I know that I need to finish up real quick. I am watching the time. I'm just going as fast as I can. So innovation actually happens in one of three ways. You can either buy it, build it, or partner it. I'm going to tell you, all three are good. They all work. It's just a question of where you are in the moment. Silicon Valley has a very particular way of making things happen. I'm going to skip through this fairly quickly, because what I want to do is talk about how it is that it happens on a broader scale. See if I can make this thing work. My thumb is getting tired here. Here we go. Okay. No, not yet. One more. One more. Okay. So this is basically the way it works in Silicon Valley. What we're talking about in Silicon Valley always is having empathy. Empathy is that notion that I actually care how you feel. I care. If we begin from caring, there's no way in the world that the Sustainable Development Goals are not important to every one of us. That's why they make such good basis for business plans. When I landed in Uruguay, when I landed in Sri Lanka, when I landed in Mongolia, people naturally begin talking about solving the problems of the Sustainable Development Goals because they make good business plans. Right, exactly. They make good business plans. All right, so what does it look like when you build a business? Can I take like 90 seconds more? Is it okay? No, 60 seconds. Okay, she says yes, he says no. I'll go fast. Okay, looks like this. I'm just gonna flip through them and I won't comment. That you can just take pictures, because everybody's taking pictures, I'll just go through.
Our esteemed speakers, I would like to announce that our second panel must be started, so we don't have enough time. I'm so sorry. I would like to thank you, all of you.
We still have 2 minutes in the machine here.
This machine says 2 minutes.
Okay.
So let her finish for 1 minute.
I'm pushing as fast as I can. I feel like a monkey here in a box. I'm like this. I go fast.
So sorry.
I don't think I can make it through. I mean, let's see. Da-da-da-da-da-da. I'll tell you what. If anybody wants to meet with me after to see any more of how this works, just come and find me. I'm around. And maybe we just stop, because I can't advance this fast enough. My thumb doesn't go that fast.
Anyway, thank you very much.
You speak, and I'll just move the slide.
Thank you very much, Cheryl. You know, as you can see,
So sorry.
We did our absolute best to stay within time. When 1 minute, 1 minute still to the end. So give us a round of applause to our panelists, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.